Randy was in on that one. I was going through clouds, I found that thing, Roger wanted everything.
Yeah, German, and then we're gonna get a lot of,
Back then it was over $2 million.
About 100,000 came out of the village line.
oh, it's all Polish. This is not German.
That was 10 years ago.
Celebrate its German heritage.
Yeah.
2006 it said on the page on there.
I don't know, I'm pretty German myself.
Okay,
That's
this
the music we play.
is Tuesday, March 14th, 2017. It is 6 p.m. This is the regular village board meeting for the village of Pulaski held at 585 East Glenbrook Drive, Pulaski, Wisconsin. Could I have roll call and pledge?
Bruce Birchkowski.
Present.
Roger Birchkowski.
Present.
Robert Gajewski.
Here.
Doug Prentice.
Present.
Chris Smith. Here. Robert Van Lannen.
Here.
And Reed Woodward.
Here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented
So moved.
by Doug?
Second.
Second by Chris. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And a motion to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of February 6, 2017, and the special board meeting of February 22nd, 2017, and dispense with the reading
So moved.
by Roger.
Second.
Second by Bob Van Lannen. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 4, persons desiring to be heard. Persons desiring to be heard. Persons desiring to be heard. There being none, Karen, I'm looking for the dog.
Committee of the whole.
Oh, okay. All right. Item 5 is committee reports. The Room Tax Commission met on February 7th, 2017 at Cobblestone Hotel. Mary Wickman is not here. Bruce, you were in attendance?
Yeah, we had a gentleman from, I forget his name, from Madison, kind of go through some of the things we did before with the brainstorming what things we could do as far as with the room tax money, and he was going to put it in a spreadsheet, and we didn't have another meeting since then to kind of dissect that a little bit.
David Sweeper.
David, yes, yep. He did a really great job, very informative meeting. So we're going to try to dissect that and try to put a budget together where we want to use the room tax money. I was at the Green Bay Chamber the other day and I picked up the visitor guides who were members of the Visitor Bureau, and we'd have a Pulaski section in there now too in the guide, and also Al has the Cobblestone advertised in there too, so we got that part started anyway. So
And there are like 60,000 of them disseminated.
yes, yeah, I don't know the exact number, but there's a ton of them, and it's also on their website too. So, but once we get that part back from David, we'll try to get a budget together where we want to spend the money.
Okay, thank you. Next is the minutes of the February 15, 2017 Planning and Zoning Commission. They met at 6 p.m. and the only item on the agenda was actually the review and discussion regarding the Village of Pulaski Comprehensive Plan. Reviewed draft chapter number 4, economic development, and that was recommended approval at the meeting. And we adjourned at 7:09 p.m. and the next meeting for the P&Z is actually tomorrow night. The Economic Development Ad Hoc Committee of February 20, 2017. Chris?
Yeah, we had a good conversation. some on the housing and workforce and community. One of the highlights was that they're still moving forward with looking at daycare for polka tots. I think that will, a decision will probably be coming shortly. I talked to the agent today, so hopefully. And then a lot of discussion on the printery building. But the steering committee was there and they talked a lot about their meetings and how it's been going. But even with this poster, what I wanted to highlight was the meetings, the 2 community meeting sessions that are coming up March 21st and April 18th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. And that will be at Glenbrook Community Room. And the meetings are going to be discussing ideas for the uses of the building beyond the library, and what kind of operational structure and fundraising and all those kinds of things at that meeting. So there was quite a bit of discussion on that. And then we had reports on like the Field of Dreams and moving into the phase 2 section, and that's going to be a 2.6 million phase. So still looking for donations in that. And then one of the other things is Smarava's Bakery will be beginning their facade renovation as soon as the weather permits. And a lot of little things in between all that. So we had a really good discussion. And then the next meeting is on Monday, April 24th, at noon to 1 at Glenbrook District School Office Conference Room again. So.
Okay, thank you. And it's my understanding that there are 2 persons interested in pursuing the purchase of the daycare, and
Along with, yes,
and so,
correct.
I mean, we're hoping that it all gets done so that everything's ready to go. The target date is August 1st. So that people that have kids to deal with, that they've got an answer as soon as possible. So we're trying to facilitate everything. And the schools worked hard at cooperating and giving the information they need. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Next is the Committee of the Whole. February 22nd, 2017. And out of that, we have a request for 3 dogs. Bobby Joe Nicholson, 141 Johnson Street. She has a request to add an additional dog that they actually got as a wedding present. Never heard of that one before. Can I have a motion open for it?
So moved.
Second.
Bruce and all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The floor is yours.
Oh, I don't know what you need to know. We got him as a gift. I have 2 other dogs. One is 9, one is 5, and then this one is 7 months now. So they're all fixed. I take them into the clinic. All their shots stay updated every year. We have a visible fence, so they stay within our yard and everything. So.
Bobby Joe, what kind of dogs do you have?
The oldest one is a German Shorthair. The middle one is a mix. That one I got as a rescue. And then this youngest one is a boxer.
Okay.
Are all the dogs kept inside during the night, or?
Yeah, they're inside at night.
Yeah.
The only time they're outside either is when we're outside or if neither one of us is home. So like right now they're outside and they run around. But they have access. There's a dog door on the garage so they can go in and out.
Any other questions?
I see 2 of the neighbors signed saying we're comfortable with this. Had you approached anybody else?
With my work schedule, I've had an issue, and then my one neighbor has had some health issues, so they're not out too much. So
Yeah.
I had tried to get them, but schedules didn't work out between up until now. So.
Okay.
is often one of the predicates of allowing a third dog is when one does die, it does not get replaced.
Yes, that is the intent, yeah.
I don't know how long term short hairs last.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Are you really attached to all three dogs that, well, I shouldn't ask that, but
Just listen to that.
He's looking for a puppy.
I have a connection if you're really wanting a puppy.
no, but it would be difficult for you to give one up if we had some problems with
Yeah, it would. I mean, I would do it if I had to, but it would be a difficult decision, yes.
Well, I'm sure then that you would make every effort to be a good neighbor to everyone, and I don't see no reason why we should deny you that then. That's about all I would have to say.
I appreciate you coming to us and licensing your dogs and being upfront with us.
Yeah, I have no problem with it. I think it's gonna work.
You need to close the floor.
Make a motion to close the floor.
Doug,
Second.
Bob Gieske, all in favor?
Aye.
Is,
I'll make a motion to approve the request for 3 dogs.
I'll second.
Bob, is that you?
Yeah.
Okay, Bob Van Lannen, second.
Wouldn't that be with the fact that if one would pass?
Yeah.
No,
The
that's
3
true.
named dogs.
Yeah.
Attorney Vandy Castle always, he'll have a resolution.
Yeah, we make a resolution, and that's what it says in the resolution.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Now, you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but you're not required to. Thank you. The second item that came out of the committee of the whole was a payment request, Pulaski Tri-County Fire Department, invoice 597, purchase of a new fire apparatus chassis payment is due, a payment of $30,703 is due by April 3rd, 2017. And the payment number 2 will be the balance of $53,843 due by October 2017. The total cost for each community is shared out at $84,546. Now, we're going to have to, we've got enough, in reserves to make that check payment in April without, doing any borrowing or anything. But in the future, we'll probably make this part of a bonding issue or something that we're working on in reference to TIF 4 to just put everything under the same.
So both payments will take out of the?
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with that.
Okay. So I have.
I'll make a motion to make that payment, that first payment.
I'll second it.
Second by Bruce. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So we will make that payment in time. Yeah, and then as we do the final bonding, we will, Bill will probably be touching at the end of the meeting. The Parks Use Committee, February 22nd. Doug?
I'm glad that we got together in February because it was a very busy meeting, well attended, and many subjects that we touched on. I'm thinking we'll need to talk a little bit in Committee of the Whole meeting. The soccer program, still very interested in bringing all their activities to our community park for 2018 season. So they're working with Joe on if we need to move some trees and level some ground and that sort of stuff. There's going to be some reconstruction with phase 2 going on behind the old high school, the middle school, and that's where they have all their soccer fields now. that's going to be disrupted, so they want to see that they have an alternate location. And hopefully going forward, they use our park for the tournaments that they hope to bring to town, especially the Tony Litt tournament that's been played out of town for years, but we'd like to see that back in the community, being that Tony was a big part of our community. There was an ask for paint in our Memorial Park south parking lot. So that's the parking lot between our baseball fields at Memorial Park and the middle school, right by the bridge there. The parking in there is kind of all over the place, some in the lawn. Whoever gets first dibs on that lot kind of designs the layout for the evening. So hopefully we can put some paint in there and create a little bit of direction.
We'll try to have that done by the village crew when it warms up and
Awesome.
before the parks get busy. It just makes sense to do it. And
Yep.
We'll do it on our own.
Awesome. We discussed the park rental forms, so putting a park rental form on our website, something that they can fill out and know what they have to pay for a deposit and different things for anybody that wants to rent the parks. The park fees, we probably need to take a look at our ordinance. There are new facilities that we haven't really addressed. The pavilion at the community park is brand new since our last ordinance write-up of here's the fees. And then also there was discussion of, are these fees adequate? The difference between somebody renting it from the village and somebody renting it from outside the village is $10. And we don't think that, and the deposit isn't really enough to cover much for damage. We know that our residents would take better care of our property than outside sources. So I think we need to discuss that at a committee of the whole meeting. The baseball and the softball programs have taken their resident, non-resident indication off of their applications for play. If you play in the league, we requested that they charge an extra $5 that can be paid for the use of our parks. That way our residents aren't paying extra, because in the tax rolls they all pay for it. So outside the village, we were hoping to collect fees for maintenance, toilet paper, cleaning, all the electricity, all these things, water, in the parks. But they've taken that off, so we've got to have a big discussion of how we even out the score as far as that goes. Last year, the softball and baseball program put upwards of $60,000 to $90,000 of money into our parks, improving the backstops, improving the dugouts, all these things, leveling, and it's amazing what they've done. So they also feel that, you know, if we're paying this into the park, do we still need to pay these $5 fees? As well as, you know, we have a fee for the year of their rental, or individually weekend fees for the tournaments that they bring in. You know, many outside communities come here and play. So that's another thing that we need to discuss. It was recommended that maybe we only rent to residents of our community, to avoid any vandalism and that sort of thing. And there's some parks in the area that have made that change. So we need to add the KC building, or the community park pavilion rental fee, to our ordinance. Increase the east pavilion fees when they're built. When this new building at Memorial Park is built, that is a very low fee. I think it was $35 for the day or something kind of silly. And then add maybe a discussion about the flag football use of our fields. I know that's several communities that do come in here, so a lot that we need to kind of dig into and make some decisions on. So that's what I have to report.
Thank you. It was a well-attended meeting and very civil.
Yep. Good group of people from each of those organizations.
So definitely this will be discussed at the next committee of the whole meeting, right?
Yeah.
If we want to interject anything, we save it for then.
Karen, do you want my notes on that? I don't know if you want to put any of that on the agenda.
We are definitely going to,
I wrote a few, and I can make copies of it for
Okay.
everybody if you want it.
It's kind of scribbling, maybe I type it up and get it to you. Okay, good. I'll bring it along.
we definitely have to revisit the fees for the renting the buildings because, you know, I mean, we're spending $300,000 to get these facilities done. And $25 ain't gonna make it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Pat McDermott mentioned too, they're putting up new scoreboards at the
Yes.
McDermott Field, so that's all donated by Furniture. That's good
Beautiful
stuff.
improvement.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next is labor negotiations, February 28th. As I was out of town, Doug Prentice was named the chair.
Yeah.
Turn it over to you.
We got together and reviewed several applications and resumes, so it was nice to see such an interest in the position that we have to offer. We're going to go into closed session at the end of this meeting and discuss the interview process, but it was neat to see that from the 3 that reviewed the resumes and applications, 5 people came up, and it was the same 5 for all of us, so we were kind of on board with approved candidates to interview. So we interviewed 5 candidates.
Over the course of 2 evenings.
Yep.
You'll be going into closed session later on in the meeting to make a selection. The Fire Department Board of Directors was held on February 28th, 2017. I was out of state, but the status fire runs report is part of your agendas, and I didn't see anything that stuck out that needed to be discussed. Item number 6, to consider approved payment request for Robert E. Lee and Associates Incorporated, invoice 71,800, miscellaneous in the amount of $903.77. Invoice 71,801, corporate lift station upgrade, tip 2, in the amount of $312.50. Item number 71,802, Cashmere Street design and construction. This is a portion of tip 4. The amount of $1,740.58. 71,803 Pavilion addition, the amount of $5,652.88. And item number 71,804 Memorial Park Building. That was the design and the bid process and everything for the Memorial Park Building, and the amount of $17,774.30.
On that last invoice, Paul, I see construction services. Is this just the services that have been completed already, or does that help as the construction happens? Is some of that service spoken for in this invoice? 17,774.30.
Well, it's really, to this point, it's for the design and bidding.
Okay.
Construction services haven't really happened yet.
All right.
That's the description we have in our system.
Perfect.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Roger,
I'll second that.
second by Bob Gieske. Any other questions by the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 7, to consider to approve operator bartender license applications ending in 6/30/2018. 3. Angela M. Sweeney, she's at Pulaski Shell. Molly E. Stone, okay. Again, Pulaski Shell. Okay. The third one is Christina M. Terubbiates.
Yeah. Mountain Bay Coffee, I
Mountain Bay
guess.
Coffee. They all have their certificates.
The chief Mark
And
didn't get to see them yet.
the motion should be pending the chief's approval.
So moved.
So by Bob, seconded
I'll
by
second.
Bruce. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number 8, consider to approve application for temporary Class B fermented malt beverages, Pulaski Reds Baseball Veterans Memorial Park, May 2017 through October 2017.
So moved.
By Roger,
Second.
second by Doug. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number 9, persons desired to be heard.
I had one thing, Reed, if I
Yes.
could. Last month, we had in your packet, you had the letter from Allison Watson with the printery meeting that we're gonna have. She kinda outlaid what was going on, and she had in there, see if we could find a couple dollars to help support some of the things that we're doing. Can we put that on the agenda for next month or discussion?
I didn't put it on because she has since resigned
Yes,
and accepted another job.
yep,
And so we should probably go through the cow
okay,
and make a motion out of there. I hated to bring that document because it said draft on it, and since then, she's resigned her position. Is now working out of Gaming.
out of Gaming County, yeah. She still wants to help and volunteer with it, but if we could do that, that would be great.
Yes. Okay, not a problem, just make sure that we remember to have it on the agenda.
Okay,
Again, persons desired to be heard, third time, persons desired to be heard. Number 10,
We have a,
Got one.
okay,
I'll make a motion to open the floor.
by Doug,
I'll second.
by Bob Gieske, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes, I heard through the grapevine that you approved bid on, for the restrooms on the Miller, on Community
It
Park.
wasn't through the grapevine, it was done at a meeting, so.
I know, but I didn't hear nothing about it from outsiders, so.
It was more money we wanted to spend, but it's not gonna get any cheaper, so the board did vote unanimously to do the construction of the bathrooms at the KC building and the new shelter at the park. So that was done at that special board meeting, the end of
February 22nd.
February 22nd, thank you.
So in other words, it's gonna be done.
Yes, it's gonna be done, it has to be done by May 18th at the latest. Okay?
That sounds good. The thing I need to know then, we had talked about putting, names up, a poster up or a board up for names of the donors that donated the money to that,
Okay.
restroom.
If you come up with something that's
Yeah.
neat and attractive, that should not be a problem.
I talked to Bruce a year ago, 2 years ago, I
Yeah.
don't remember. But he's got a little board there of, we want to see it yet again, that we would put the names on. And originally, being I thought it was going to be a bigger building, we were looking at a little bigger sign, about a 2 by 3 foot plaque to put up. But I think probably where it's gonna be put is in the entrance or in that hallway entranceway, if we got approval of doing it. Would be a much smaller one, maybe 12 by 18 or, something at a decent size of doing it.
That's not a problem, I'm sure the board
If
supports
that's
that.
okay, so I can go ahead and have the names all put on there and Bruce, because Bruce has to redo a cost for it and that, so, because it's changed, imagine, in price and everything else, and the size will be changing, and I can talk to Bruce what would look the best, and when we look at the size of the wall or where it would be going on, so.
That's a poster child for a definition of a moving target, I'll tell you.
Yeah, well, see, we had talked to Bruce about, it'd be that board would be framed in a piece of wood around it, and he had thought of putting that on that white board, and I says, somebody's gonna come in there with a knife or something, or a pen and scratch across it, so I suggested we put a hard a clear plastic board
Yep.
over it, so they'll have to really wanna damage it to make any.
Exactly.
Because somebody comes in there and scratches it, it's done. I mean, it's, how do you replace it?
That's why that building has to stay locked unless it's rented.
So, but even if it's locked, I mean, somebody, you know, how people get sometimes, they
Right.
just, you know, damage it and so.
Right.
So that's all, so I'll have the approval to go ahead with that
Yeah.
and do that.
Thank you for an,
Thank
about a
you.
long,
figure on that, Bruce?
I'd have to go back and look again. It's gonna be smaller, so, I'll look at find the folder and relook at it again. I have no idea. I don't remember what it was.
I'll make a motion to close the floor.
second by Bob Pulaski, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number 10, Department Reports, Public Works.
Two things. We received a request to vacate, an alley. Karen and I talked with Bill on Friday to get the proper paperwork done, and hopefully that'll be coming, to a near meeting.
What alley is that, Joe?
It runs from Helen Street to West Cedar Street, and it does go east off of that alley.
And previously, the half of the
Half.
alley has been vacated.
Right.
Okay.
Why the other half wasn't vacated,
So
we don't know.
There's stuff on it, or what?
There's trees.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
see.
you
Okay.
can't drive it.
Through, okay,
No, it's not a through. I mean, there's full curb on both sides.
okay.
Um,
It's
you know,
considered an alley.
It still is considered an alley. Yep. So we will get that property owner the proper paperwork and where she goes with that. If she brings it to the board, gets the proper signatures, we'll go from there. The second thing is the backup generator for the Village Hall and Police Station. Mark and I met with the electrician yesterday. We finally were able to go through the discrepancies we had with the two companies that gave us the quotes. So we did get one revised quote back, and we're still waiting from the other company. But now we can compare them.
So neither of them had it exactly right? They both have to?
We have 293 amp draw for the entire premise. And with that converted to what you need 400 amps of service for the entire thing, because if it kicks out at noon in the middle of July and all air conditioning units kick on, we're gonna need the 400 amp. The conversion on that is 80 kW. And that's what Joel and I worked with him to finally figure out what we needed to have for the premise.
Awesome.
So hopefully we get that information to you soon.
Before trying to do
Right.
What
That's
were
all I
the
have.
original two? Were
How
they-
far off
How
were they?
far from
Well,
80 were they?
One was at 80 kW and the other was a 50 kW. So there, and the components that went with it, like the transfer switch, for example, they weren't nearly the same. So now we honed in from the electrician on what he exactly needs, so we're able to ship that off to the generator people.
We're gonna have two electricians bid,
Yep.
two generator companies bid, so that you have apples to apples, both of them 80 kW, both of them the wiring at 400 amp at whatever the three-phase,
Yeah.
208 volt figure was. We had them write up a sheet and exactly what was needed for the building to make this all work properly.
Okay, thank you for your efforts. It's kind of difficult to get answers from anybody.
Right. And that's all I had.
Okay. Sewer and water, Tommy.
I have nothing this evening, Reed.
Police Department, Mark.
I have several things. First of all, just to let the board know, as far as activity-wise goes, we had a drug arrest that we did with 6.4 grams of methamphetamine on a traffic stop that we took out, so that was a good arrest. We had 4 felony arrests out of that. We had the pursuit that you probably have seen on TV. We had 6 arrests out of that for several different things. All of them were felony charges to begin with, so we ended up with 6 more charges on that. And then the old Joe's place, it's 110, it's Pam and Pablo's, another round that was broken into, and we made an arrest the next day on that for the burglary. So within the last 2 weeks, we did 11 arrests for felony. So as far as activity-wise, been some long days and some nights, and I've had a lot of court time with the guys, but it's just part of the way it goes. Second thing I want to bring to your attention is I talked to Reed about this, but I'm going to bring it to the board so that you know that we're going to have to do something with this. The new squad should be in the next 3-4 weeks, I'm thinking. Delivery time, I'm not sure exactly what it is. It's a Ford manufacturing thing. But I had to move forward with some of the line items here to purchase. And with the new car, we had an old system that had an old DVR system in it for the old car. I refused to transfer that to a new vehicle because we went to an SD card system now for recording the video. And it's essential that we have a video in the car as far as, you know, taping what the officers do on a traffic stop, because, you know, the small amount of money we put into this will save a ton of money if we ever have somebody make an accusation of something happening. And I have a $2,400 cost for the camera, and I have to make that purchase for the new car so that we stay in line with what I have. I want to stick with the digital, and about every 3 years we should be looking at probably buying a new one of these, because they change so much on that 3-year time frame that you know, my oldest one would be like, if I bought one every 3 years, that would, you know, a 9-year-old system would be taken out of service at that stage. And
Isn't
it should
the
be.
last one
This-
that I bought?
That's
the one
gone.
that's coming?
That's the one I want to replace. That's going.
Gives you a little time frame there.
That's going. I have to get rid of that system. That's just, it's like
Well, it was
having
state
a.
of the art when I bought it.
Yeah, no, it's, you know, what used to be this big is now, you know, a little bitty. So I do have to make a purchase, and Provision is what we have in the other cars. I want to stay with the same manufacturer, because if I screw around going with a different camera company, then what happens is my downloads don't all work the same, and I want to stay, you know, consistent with that. The next thing is I had, I went out and I explained to the board that I would have to purchase a new cage. Nothing fits from one car to the other. We're taking a Crown Victoria, retiring that. That'll go into the police liaison. But in the new squad is a Ford Explorer. So I had to buy the cage, the console, the back cage, the drawer system, because obviously I cannot use Carver right now with it. And I went out and I asked for estimates on it, and Flasher One shot me some prices with one of the estimates that came in at $7,437, and that was without it being installed. I had another vendor come here, which is called Low Voltage Solutions, and their bid was $8,350, 1 cent all installed. So comparable, I have to go with the one that's going to be the all installed, because he bid alone for the installation, and if I just went with this installation roll, it was $3,100 or $3,314.21. So I have to look at this one as the purchase for it. I know that it's a lot of money, but it's a one-time thing, and it'll stay until the design changes, obviously, at the vehicles again.
And if you install it on your own, then they'll argue it with the warranty.
Warranty part of it, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, between the two of them, and that doesn't include the graphics on it, because the graphics came in at $552.77. So, you know, I do have graphics in it, and then I didn't include a siren speaker that I forgot about too when I talked to them. But there's just little things that I'm going to have to make these purchases, but I want the board to be well aware that they're going to be made, and they're well in excess of, you know, just a couple dollars.
Well, Mark, I appreciate your efforts in the past, because I know that you, I believe your brother was helping us out with.
We did, but they're too busy right now, and I cannot ask that.
So anyhow, that's appreciated by everybody, and I don't think you have to apologize for trying to have the equipment that's needed. So you're very gracious the way you gave your report, and I'm sure we're going to approve it. So I myself am overwhelmed by what we have to do as a village to provide the protection the big cities have to do. We have to maintain the same protection that the big cities give their people, and big undertaking, so thank you.
Okay.
So that's all I had.
I don't know that a motion is necessary to do things that are actually mandatory. That's the
done?
cost, and we'll proceed. And anything else, Mark?
Nope, I just wanted to be upfront with everybody about the prices on stuff, because I was kind of amazed at how much money, you're talking about $8,000 for an inside of a car. So at the end of the day, I'm probably gonna have about $40,000 worth of equipment in there.
That's pretty much what we projected.
In one car.
Pretty close. 35 to 40 was the windshield estimate, so. Administration, Karen or Jody? Nothing? Jody, nothing? Bill?
All right. We are in the process of working with R.W. Baird and a bond council to figure out how to finance the ongoing development in TIF 4. The latest developments in that are that we met with Baird about, 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
They, when we started this process, we were looking at potentially some kind of a bond. That is still on the table as an option, but Baird also suggested that we explore the option of a general obligation note format. There's a couple different options that they have available for them, but it's too early for them to project which one would be the best at this point. What they're suggesting is a two-tiered system in that to get the money quicker, that the village issue through Baird it's called a note anticipation note. What that means is that you're borrowing the amount of money that you need today under a very short-term note that would be paid off with either a bond of some sort or a general obligation note. The reason for the delay between the two and why we're going with a two-step process is that in reviewing the village's records, the village hasn't been rated by Standard & Poor's and Moody's and the other rating agencies for a couple of decades. And they felt that it was prudent for the village to go through that rating process to get a confirmation of a rate to help lower the price of the bond and facilitate issuing the bond or the note, either one. And so they're working on the note anticipation note and with the bond council, and they're also working on the rating process. So the gentleman from Baird has been pestering Karen and Jody for the last week or 10 days to get documentation to support their review or their request for a review. I know I've had multiple contacts with Baird over the last 2 weeks as well. Paul's office supplied us with some information that was sent on to them about capital improvement projects in the village and those kinds of things. So to be honest, I can't tell you what goes into that rating process, but from what I've seen in my conversations with Brad, they're trying to get buckets of information, boxes of information from the village about its financial operations over the last probably 5 years or so, to facilitate their application for a review. So when we discussed this with them, with Baird about 2 weeks ago, they anticipated that the note anticipation note would be ready to go within 6 to 8 weeks, which is now, 2 weeks ago, it's 4 to 6 weeks. And that we would have the money shortly thereafter. So we're looking at getting the village's contribution under the developers agreement for TIF number 4 within about, say, 2 months. And then the ultimate financing would be picked up after that. As well as the financing for the ongoing development in TIF 4, there are some other things that we may be able to include in that bonding or GO note of some sort to cover some other financing costs. So if we can get the rate down, we might be able to refinance some other things in that process as well to save us some money over the long term. So they couldn't give us an estimate of what the rate is because they don't know what we're gonna be rated by the bond rating companies, so that's where we are.
Okay, so that easy process was going to be about 8 weeks. 6 months ago is on target.
Yeah, it's on target, yeah. Right.
Any questions of Bill on this? It's been a real tough for Bill and Brad to respond to all, and Jody and Karen, to all these requests for the information to get that rating, because, you know, it is very important that we have a current rating that will get us definitely a better bond sale. Correct, Bill?
Correct, absolutely correct.
Any other questions of Bill? Not? We'll go into communications, but there's a planning and zoning commission meeting on Wednesday, March 15th at 6 p.m. at the Pulaski Village Hall. And it's a very big agenda there. It's probably going to be a long meeting. The spring election will be held Tuesday, April 3rd, 2017. The polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
You got 1 hour to get here.
I mean, it's April 4th.
I thought it was April
Yep.
4th. Okay, and the polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Pulaski Village Hall, 585 East Glenbrook Drive, Pulaski, Wisconsin. The next regular board meeting will be held on, because of election, on Tuesday, April 11th, 2017 at 6 p.m. at the Pulaski Village Hall. The organizational board meeting will be held on Tuesday, April 18th, 2017 at 6 p.m. at the Pulaski Village Hall. And if necessary, that would also be a cow meeting before the board meeting, I would think.
Be
It
after.
had to be after, okay, I gotta listen to what you say. So it'll be after.
Could have pulled you to that.
Okay. It's on camera. The open book for the 2017 assessment rolls is scheduled for Thursday, May 4th, 2017 at 10:30 a.m. as per Mike Diener, our assessor. And the schedule for the board review for 2017 is, the suggested dates are May 9th, 10th, or 11th,
That's when we have to sit here.
2017 at
At least.
4 p.m. By law, we have to be in session from 4 p.m. until 6 p.m.
And if you could come up with one of those dates, because that does need to be posted, it's published in the paper, and then Mike Diener needs to reserve one of those dates, so which one works out good?
9th is a little bit tough for me, but we can make it work.
It'll be on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
You don't have court that night, Karen?
No, we have court on May 4th.
Wednesday would be good.
I'm good for the 10th or the 11th. I
10th would
prefer
work,
the
right?
10th.
10th?
10th would work for me.
10th at 4 o'clock? Okay. Thank you.
And rather than do a committee of the whole for March, we will, I don't think we need one right now.
I don't know, you had quite a few things. I don't know if you,
Well,
because in your board meeting will be first, April
yeah,
11th. We wouldn't need, it's up to you.
okay, if we do need one, do you want it the 27th or 28th?
Doesn't matter.
Both are wide open for me.
Have it the 27th.
Have it the 27th?
What time?
5 p.m.?
7th?
Yeah.
Is that okay with you, Roger?
Yeah.
All right, and with that, we go to agenda item number 12 is going to adjourn to closed session for Wisconsin State Statutes 19.85 sub 1 sub c, considering employment, promotion, compensation, and performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, specifically to discuss and review applications and resumes for the support staff position.
I'll make that motion to adjourn to closed session.
By Doug,
I'll second.
seconded by Chris. Roll call.
Did you have a chance?
Bruce Pritchkowski?
Yes.
Roger Pritchkowski?
Yes.
Robert Gajewski? Doug Prentice?
Yes.
Chris Smith?
Yes.
Robert Van Len? And Reed Woodbury?
Yes. We'll give everybody